Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time zone you're watching us. A warm welcome to everyone who has joined our today's webinar. I'm your host, Naveen Rathi, and the focus of today's webinar is demystifying clean core and its benefits. Now, to begin with, I would like to start with expressing my sincerest gratitude to each and every one of you who attended all 4 previous episodes. Your commitment and dedication is truly commendable. Moving on. Now, with me today, I have 2 experienced gentlemen in this area, Mr. Sridhar, Global Lead SAP Transformation Technology and SAP Infra Services with 22 plus years of experience. Mr. Prasad, Director, 16 plus years of experience in SAP Technology and Innovation. Moving on, so all of you have a chance to address your questions directly to Mr. Sridhar and Mr. Prasad. After the presentation, we have a dedicated Q&A. So please use that. Please post your questions in the Q&A section, and we shall come back to you. Let's quickly go through our today's agenda. So to start with, we'll have clean core concept, which will be taken up by Mr. Sridhar. Moving on to clean core approach, CBO transformation, value drivers in SAP BTP, and lastly, CBO type and BTP use cases. So without wasting time, let's start with the presentation. Over to you, Mr. Sridhar.
Okay, thanks, Naveen. Once again, let me also thank all the people who have joined us today. It's once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So moving on, this being the agenda, we are quickly going to cover about the concept of clean core, what it is, how is that achieved, what all various technologies and tools that are offered by SAP to achieve the clean core concept in the first place, and why is it important also to keep the keep the core clean, and what it means basically. How do we reduce the custom code footprint? And in that context, what are custom business objects, and then how do we actually transform the custom CBOs? In that context, we'll quickly touch base upon that. Some of the BTP value drivers and the use cases. These are the 5 different topics that we will cover. So moving on. Before even we really get there, so we all know that SAP as a ERP system, or many products from SAP, right? Many of the products have a lot of custom code that has been written by multiple customers over the period of last 4 to 5 decades. So these are a few statistics that we gathered from various surveys that were conducted by industry experts, and these are very, very overwhelming, custom code related statistics. If you see, up to 250,000 objects exist in various customer namespaces. So these are pretty big in nature. So many number of custom objects exist. But incidentally, if you see, I'll actually talk about 65% of the custom code objects here are not really being used. So very unfortunate. So what it also showcases is many of these custom code objects probably are not needed, or were written at that point in time, and in the subsequent releases of SAP systems, probably those were given as standard business process by SAP, and those may have been adopted by customers. So that is a overwhelming number, 65% of the custom code objects. And then going back here, 60% of the custom code objects contain code inspection messages, code inspection issues. We have code inspectors from SAP, SCI, and so on, right? So those things, there are some issues. All of those have to be fixed, ideally. And 12% of the cloned custom code objects are identical or very, very similar to the original SAP standard objects. So that means, hardly any changes were made. So these 12% probably are not even needed, because, these have not really been any different from the original objects. And then 50% of the custom code objects have to be adjusted on change events. And then if you see, 23% of the custom code objects were supporting critical processes. So that means, these are important, But I mean, despite these being very important, I mean, 65% of those are not really being used. So if you take these two numbers in tandem, there is something wrong. So all in all, the messaging that we are actually trying to convey here is probably there is a better way of actually, utilizing the SAP system. Probably there is a way for us to really go back to the fit to standard aspect. Probably there is a way for us to reduce the custom code footprint and so on. So that is what also one of the drivers for SAP to, come up with the clean core concept and so on. So we'll see what it is. So one of the, important, the clean core concept, the very concept in itself states that, keeping the core clean. What does it mean? In short, your S4 HANA system, one of your core ERP systems, right? That is your actual core. Don't corrupt that with custom code. That's what SAP has been really, driving customers to. Don't write custom code. Even if it is an absolute necessity, try not to write that inside the core in itself. Where do you write that then? Is it really going to be helpful? Is it really going to be sufficient for me to achieve my own business processes? Probably not. Definitely each and every customer across different industry verticals may have different requirements, because of which they would need to write some custom code. But how do we really achieve that aspect of meeting the customer's business requirements, but not really writing those custom code aspects and artifacts inside the core? That is what the clean core concept is. How do we do that? We'll actually talk about that in the upcoming slides. But just to go through the quick points that are mentioned here. So there is a clean mindset that we need to really keep right from the day one in itself. We are not really going to modify the SAP standard code. We are not really going to write as, or rather we are going to keep as much minimal changes to the SAP standard code as possible right from the day one itself. That is a zero modification policy. Keep that in the have that mindset in the beginning in itself. Even if you were to really write custom code, decouple those extensions. Why do we need to decouple? We all know that we have been really having a lot of challenges. A lot of customers have been having challenges when they are trying to upgrade their systems from one version to another version. SPAUs, SPDDs of the world, will come into play. A lot of time is spent in really, fixing the issues that come up with the during the upgrade project in itself. So even if you were to do it, try identifying a way of decoupling those. SAP has provided all those avenues for us to decouple those. We'll see those. But eventual goal is extensions should not break an upgrade and upgrades should not break an extension. So that is the concept we have to achieve and leverage the full potential of extension options, be it an in-app extension or a side-by-side extension or a hybrid extension, whatever it is. But leverage those options that are available. Build the extensions in a way that does not prevent a move to real quote-unquote cloud environment or a cloud ERP, maybe a SAP S/4HANA Cloud or an SAP S/4HANA On-Prem edition or an SAP S/4HANA Private Cloud edition. Doesn't matter, but make sure that our journey towards any of these newer ERPs is not really going to be hampered by these extensions. So we have to keep that throughout the project, throughout the S/4HANA journey. Eliminate enhancements that are redundant to the standard code and functionality, as well as clones of standard code. Try not to clone in the first place, because cloning is basically taking the SAP standard code and making some modifications to that code, right? Leverage some of the extension options that are given instead of cloning those. So that is one of the important aspects that we need to keep that in mind. API first policy, or use as many released APIs as stable contracts of communication between systems. The advantage is, one is API first policy is something that many a customer is actually adapting nowadays. And by keeping that, the advantage is, these are all whitelisted APIs more often than not that we would end up using. Even if we were using a custom kind of an API, we are not really going to change those APIs without any notice, neither SAP nor the custom built APIs. So that, I mean, there are some deprecation policies in place, and I mean, all of those are governed. So we will not be able to make, we don't end up making any changes without unknowingly also. So, I mean, let us actually keep that in mind while making that custom code or, extensions. And last but not the least, of course, utilize the best practices and utilize the capabilities of SAP BTP, predominantly around the integration suite and the extension suite components that are there. So those are the two key areas where we can actually all those underlying capabilities of those two suites, extension suite and integration suites, we can leverage those capabilities and achieve this clean core concept. Let us quickly go through. So, I mean, I'll actually ask Prasad to take over and quickly take us through the approach of how do we really achieve this. Prasad?
Yeah, thank you, Sridhar. Hi all, very good morning, good evening. So basically, as we see the buzzword clean core around, so clean core in a simplest way, it is nothing but decoupling and implementing the custom code solution with a minimal dependencies with your environment like S4HANA or ECC. And also it gives as a result to simplify the SAP upgrade process in future, and also reduces the timelines for the upgrade or enables easier extensibility. So it simplifies the maintainability and also deployment process with the best practices what SAP trying to offer for the customers to keep the core clean. So there are multiple factors where we can consider, and also we can also use multiple strategies in terms of applying the methodology for the clean core. But here we would like to just provide the even SAP standard way of representing the approach for the clean core. So initially, we have to go through with the analysis phase where we need to conduct the custom code using CCM or ICCM tools from SAP, and then subsequently we have to decide the factors whether we need to go ahead with the in-app extensibility or side-by-side extensibility, where we will be talking, we will be considering majorly for example, if I take an example of user extensibility. So generally we will be considering the fields, UI adoptions, even custom business logic and custom business objects, even custom CDS. So all these are going to be deciding factors. What is the maximum approach to go with side-by-side extensibility, or within the S4HANA where in-app can be, in-app extensibility can be, adopted. So and then renovate existing custom application. That's where we are going to decide whether the replatforming can be applied in terms of the results what we have done as part of the analysis, and then subsequently decoupling with the cloud ready strategy. So we have to consider SAP Business Technology Platform, which is giving majority of the analysis support or compliant, such as the ATC enablement on your on-premise and getting the results as part of analysis. So these are all the basic things, but each and every stage contains multiple factors and tools, and where we need to leverage and which will definitely give us a kind of deciding factor for us. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so basically it is simply a mindset, because we have to decide when it comes to having the traditional aspects, we have to decide on the drivers. What exactly I need to apply as part of the deciding factors when it comes to understanding the transformation journey. So also it factors a lot of things like cost of ownership, even cost of maintenance, and even architecture goals, whether I need to apply the latest automation features like CI/CD pipelines to my developments, where I can automate my custom code, integration and also deployment using DevOps concept. So, and also the simplification aspect, what SAP is providing as part of S/4HANA simplification. And on top of that, business needs decides major factor like what are all the UI user experience aspect I'm trying to consider, or what are all the technologies which can be utilized for a faster response and time and access. These are these are the multiple factors as part of the, I mean, are drivers, I can say, as part of the sorry, as part of the defining the transformation journey. So that's where the mindset comes into picture, because we whenever we adopt any open source technologies, we see a lot of advantages in terms of adopting the automations, or which generally gives more flexibility in terms of timeline, and for continuous delivery aspect. So, and also agile framework of applying the solution. So the same can be applied when it comes to BTP aspect, where BTP also got some of the CI/CD services and also flexibility to communicate with code version management, which is most robust than the traditional way. So that's where having the mindset to just understand whether the custom code analysis, and subsequently making my system clean core, which will help us to enable in terms of upgrade scenarios, and simplifying the upgrading my system and all. These are all decoupling into BTP cloud ready aspect. The transformation towards the cloud is strictly a mindset where we need to understand why SAP is taken this route, and also what are all the major benefits we see. So of course, all these transformation SAP highly supporting through their best practices. And just to keep in mind with the proactive guidance towards fit to standard. So that's where we have to just think about the subsequent. I mean, I can say advantages by transforming traditional to cloud ready. Of course, there are still some open issues are there where SAP is still providing some workaround, but those will not impact on the business transformation journey, which generally we can discuss, or you can also come back with us for any queries and all. We're happy to support on that. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so basically here we would like to give a kind of keeping core clean and customizing. Generally, what exactly the needs and the pros and cons aspect. So for example, if I go for keeping core clean, so typically standardization of the processes and IT to enable growth in terms of like the strategy aspect towards moving towards the digitization, and reduction of the IT cost, definitely which will bring return on investment aspect. But when it comes to customizing the core, so specific requirements which are even not released with the SAP standard, or some kind of interfaces where I need to integrate with some kind of solutions which are not met in terms of SAP standard delivery or in-app development. So those are all the typical customizations which we can't avoid, to be honest. But applying some kind of best practices, or utilizing the cloud-ready solutions like BTP integration suite or BTP specific solutions instead of sticking with the on-premise middleware solutions. So moving towards cloud-ready is one of the biggest advantage in terms of applying the smoother way of having the automation features or AI enablement features. So that's where customizing the core with the help of the, or leveraging the BTP kind of solutions will definitely bring more advantages. Okay, and keeping pros and cons aspect, if you see, I mean, lower IT cost. Across uniformity would be there. Globally, if a customer is operating their systems, and also the same all users will be getting similar kind of adoption of the clean core advantages. So that's where no confusions would be there, because you are decoupling the complete custom development and what are the logic you built, which may be maximum. I mean, I can say as per the statistics, mostly 50 to 60% are unused in the production environments. So that's where we can avoid all those things. And also, if you take pros for the customizing the core, of course, so they actually covers the solutions which are not delivered by the SAP, and again, user satisfaction can be applied by applying the freestyle solutions or workarounds which are not delivered with SAP, and also higher loyalty to the current ERP system in terms of the applying the best design guidelines and coding standards. But concerns, I mean cons, if you say here, keeping core clean, concerns of key users who need to learn the new processes, and they need to understand the new advantages or new design principles. Are, I mean, being a business user also, they also need to understand low code no code aspect, and how citizen developers are being considered. So these are all the latest new processes here SAP is applying, which are compliant with the hyperscaler solutions like AWS and Azure way of world. So but the only problem is understanding and applying my mindset towards to the digital, being working in SAP from past 20 years, how I can change mindset. That's a kind of one of the area where the shift cannot happen immediately. But when it comes to customizing, concerns are, I mean, cons are like you have to maintenance is a higher cost, and you have to keep the skills who are involved in the the complexity development and logic and all. So, and again, perceptions that if you can customize here, why not customize there? So this will create a confusion mindset in terms of like always you think about fit to standard. Instead of that, you always think about achieving through customization. So that's where the whole disturbance will come into picture when it comes to the keeping the standards maintenance. So these are all the couple of components we would like to highlight here. But yeah, so when it comes to custom business object transformation strategy as part of the clean core, so we don't want to confuse here, but we would like to highlight here in terms of like what is the focus when it comes to the current custom business object, that is CBO, and what is the strategy which we can apply when it comes to decoupling the my solutions towards a cloud ready approach, or we can say the transformation journey. So which will bring the agility and as well as the flexibility in terms of handling my solutions. As you know, like there are 6 points here we highlighted when it comes to standard process approach, like SaaS cloud transformation, because SAP already having their success factors, Ariba, Concur. So these are all the cloud ready solutions which are SaaS cloud solutions, where majority of the SAP customers being transformed into these cloud ready solutions when it comes to human experience management, or even when it comes to Ariba aspect, the supplier aspect. So all those things are being moved where customers are getting experience with this SaaS based solution, right? So at the same time, towards the moment, so to have the SaaS based experience, we have to keep the same approach for the CBOs as part of the custom extension approach, which will be having or providing the same user experience and also the cloud ready approach. So the second point is add-on solutions to S/4HANA, because if you consider there are a lot of add-on extensions or solutions which we can talk like OpenText or ReadSoft, and there are a lot of add-on solutions, even partner-ready solutions, which are also compatible in terms of the cloud-ready approach. Either it is S/4HANA PC mode or cloud. Even now, SAP enhanced the embedded frame, Steampunk for SAP S/4HANA Cloud, where it leverages or provides doing the cloud-ready solutions on top of S/4HANA Cloud itself. So, and also fit to standard aspect, we have to keep all these three principles. And then fourth and fifth, sixth, these are all the factors where transforming my custom objects to cloud ready, uh, definitely I need to understand what are all the services I can leverage from the BTP custom extensions point of view, and side-by-side extensions for S4HANA. Again, that's going to be on BTP. And again, any code that is not being used in the production, for example, which we need to dispose. So that no burden on your transformation journey, or also in the cloud ready aspect. So these are all, I mean, the one of the example how the CBO can be transformed to the cloud ready approach. Okay, yeah.
Before we move on, Prasad, I mean, I just saw a question popping up in the question answer session. Do you want to actually answer that? Move on?
Okay, let me see the question first. What are the
Sure, Prasad.
What are the approaches in clean core, right? How do you create? Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so basically, as I mean, in the same slide we have discussed, right? So there are the approaches in terms of while adopting the clean core, we have user extensibility, and we are also need to understand the UI adoption and also side-by-side extensibility. And when it comes to side-by-side, and again, these type of extensions are developed on top of BTP side. And again, they are going to communicate or connect with the backend or cloud-based S4HANA systems via events and APIs. So these are all the different approaches, because if my system is in ECC and it is not compatible with the APIs or events, then again I need to adopt the extension in app, and then subsequently I need to check whether the code is cloud ready or not, and then subsequently I need to either use any partner extensions who provides me any flexibility in terms of talking to ERP systems and having a kind of code, decoupling the code through any DevOps tools. But when it comes to the extensibility point of view, key user extensibility is the one, and which again predominantly having the field extensibility, UI, even the business logic of custom business objects, and also even custom CDS views. And the side-by-side is completely runs on BTP. Hope I addressed the question here.
My apologies to everyone. I forgot to fill my Outlook and it kept on coming back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
apologies, but
I see another question also. How SAP license works? Can we obtain license for prototype? Yeah, so basically, yeah. So I'll just now say something here, because SAP is offering the intelligent custom code management service. So that is actually one of the release where we need to deploy the STPA add-on in your system, where you can run and analyze the complete system. I mean, we suggest a backup of production where we can run this particular tool from SAP that will collect the complete data, and then it will, of course, this is going to be a kind of ATC hub only, but this is going to a vast intelligence SAP incorporated in this particular add-on service, through which you can get the the complete picture, and then subsequently you can cluster it also. I mean, there are multiple factors when it comes to applying the traditional towards the intelligent custom code management aspect. You have to adopt the clustering mechanism, where you will be deciding, well, okay, let us say, for example, I have finance module, I have procurement, I have manufacturing, I have logistics. So, and I can understand how many custom objects being developed under these each and every functional areas, where I can run this particular tool. Then I'll get the complete analysis, and then based on that I can simply decide whether I need to rethink and re-platform into BTP, or do I need to keep in app aspect. So those things can be decided. But yes, the question towards licensing, SAP license works in the sense we have tools from SAP which we can run it. Mostly our team also can give more information on this, Mr. Sanjeev, and then subsequently we can have more discussion towards that. So can I go to next slide? So I mean, this picture, might have seen majority of the times, because the extension aspects we have, SAP is offering now in-app extensibility and also cloud extensions aspect. Cloud extensions, of course, is going to be decoupling and enabling your solutions as a a BTP or cloud ready solutions. In-app is again, it is a classic based approach we can adopt here. Sorry. And also SAP is offering the embedded steampunk, which is again, the model of your programming style is going to change, because the difference between classic and your in-app is, your embedded is, you're going to apply a RESTful application program based, cloud ready solution, so that the solution can be moved to the cloud, without any, issues or without any challenges. But of course, the on-premise system always supports client, the classic development approach. So that again, we deal with the in-app extensions. So that's where the in-app extensions is going to be, mandatorily we have to take a decision based on the complexity of the code, which can be run across with the SAP environment, through which I get more benefits than moving into the cloud strategy. So that deciding factor will always give you a kind of understanding whether I need to go for in-app or not. But in-app extension is always go with the classic and also embedded steampunk aspect. So BTP is again, as you know, we can use ABAP, that is BTP and ABAP, or you can use Java or Node.js. Those are all the cloud SDK solutions through which, because the left side in-app extension and the right side cloud extensions, both are having different models. So cloud extension is again, it's a CAP, Cloud Application Programming Model, and also supports RAP, a RESTful Application Programming Model. So that's where SAP recently, enabled the embedded steampunk within S4, where you can adopt the RESTful Application Programming Model that is going to be compatible with the BTP, that is cloud ready aspect. So still you need to use Eclipse environment to do that. But however, the standard classic approach of developing all these things may not work with the RESTful application programming. Yeah. Yeah. So any question? Actually, I could see. Yeah. Just now I covered the topic here, but however, tools like semi-automatic custom code adoption for SAP BTP ABAP is available through Eclipse add-ons at this point in time. Because, sorry, you can go business up. You can use Business Application Studio for developing the all open source and as well as the UI based or CDS based developments. But still, SAP the tools for BTP ABAP environment is still going with the Eclipse. So that's where the legacy ABAP code, if you would like to move as a cloud ready, so then you need to use this Eclipse tool, and then subsequently you need to apply the cloud ready programming model for the existing ABAP. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this particular clean core versus customizations. This talk about a kind of a process where I can decide whether my system falls under which index when it comes to clean core aspect. And also generally the start of the clean core index falls with starts with 3, 2 and 1 and 0. So 0 in the sense zero modification policy you might have adopted, and it's completely clean core, and all customizations being decoupled. So if you see here, like the start with the on-premise on-premise system are standard by default. So then you're going to think about your mindset aspect, future releases of the business processes, and how you're trying to adapt your complete system, because you might have applied a lot of custom objects within your system. So before you take any decision or under which index my system falls in. So you need to take, decide what are all the, clean core aspect, like analyze, prepare, re-platform, and clean core. So analyze in the sense, like generally you will be identifying the custom code, you will be categorizing the custom code, and then subsequently you will be cleaning the code which is unused or rarely used. You need to identify that. But when it comes to prepare, again, so prepare is an aspect where you will be, you will be, checking with the any partner enabled solutions are there for you, or what is the priority which I need to re-platform, with my solution, so that I can take the necessary SAP S/4HANA code, to be determined, I mean compatibility aspect. And then what are all the portable apps which need to be excluded, so that I can re-platform within BTP. And re-platform is the one where generally make your system cloud ready, in the sense like development, you follow the development guidelines which are defined for the cloud ready developments. And also you go with the pilot run of your re-platforming, and also like what are all the identified apps you may take a big bang or phased approach in the re-platform aspect. So clean core is the one where you will be like governing and the zero modification policy, you might have applied by this time, and use of the re-platformed apps instead of going with the customizations at any cost, and the extension adoption plan, in the sense like how the extension can be adopted through BTP solutions with the various services, either it is AI based, like automation based, or integrations or extension based. So these are all the couple of clean core index aspect. Sorry, can I go to the next slide? Yeah, can we? Yeah. So since in the starting itself, we have highlighted that there are different drivers which plays as a key factors in terms of adopting the clean core. But since all the analysis and then decision factors based on the custom code complexity or unused solutions, so everything need to be decided to adopt the BTP services or support to have the clean core goal. So that's where BTP, of course, is having the pillars like application development and integration integration scenarios, where these are the areas where customers can have, or customers can have specific requirements which can be leveraged through BTP capabilities, and then subsequently they can adopt the clean core concept. So in terms of, these are all the value drivers when it comes to development efficiency, and also the digital and user experience, whether it is high responsive or whether it is compatible with the current market trends in terms of digital experience, and also the extension aspect using the different pillars within available in BTP, either it is application development or integration. And also platform foundations, we have different platforms. Even Kima is the platform Kubernetes based, and we have Cloud Foundry runtimes. We have hybrid platforms. Even SAP Neo is going to be the BTP Neo runtime is going to be converted into Neo CF. So that's the roadmap. I mean, we can't comment on that, but there are cluster based, Kubernetes based runtimes they would like to introduce. And the process management aspect, there are majority of the intelligence they have brought within the business process, coming to process mining and a lot of. So you no need to worry about within S/4HANA. So, but the best practices, whatever SAP is offering, through which we can do the complete process management as well. Security is highly secured, though it is a cloud-based solutions, but the security is completely done through OAuth enabled SAML assertions, and whatever we have the certificate based. So all the security enablement is there within BTP, and user experience, of course, it is unique, and also you can apply the highly responsive technologies like React. Also, we can apply within BTP, other than SAP provided UFI technologies. Okay, so the beauty is you can develop your application with your own programming, like bring your own language concept is there. That's where you can, which is not possible within your traditional way, right? So you can't have that particular, a rich user experience without, having the openness, with the hyperscalers compatibilities. That's where BTP provides a value drivers for the customers to adopt the solution with a high user experience. Yeah. These are the, simple use cases we would like to provide, because people might be having a lot of questions in terms of how about my user exits and enhancements? How about my submodules? How about my standard tables? How are custom tables? So how I can consider when it comes to moving towards digital, that is BTP. So how my replatform can be considered, or how I can refactor it. So these are all the simple use cases where we have shown, but the demo aspect, or if some extensive way of discussions, we can definitely have the further discussions on these use cases, how the current, your landscape can adopt the BTP way of digitization in terms of like decoupling your solution from traditional way to cloud ready transformation. So here, if you take first use case, the generally you will be having the colored gray. The dark one is CBOs, custom business objects, and the empty boxes are, let us assume, that standard. So which can be considered as tables, or standard APIs, or OData services, or BAPIs, which are there in the standard. But let us say in first use case, I have created around 3 objects, which could be an OData service, or which could be a remote enabled function module, or which could be a custom table. So these are all multiple objects are there, but I'm just using only, standard is very less aspect, right? So here the concept is the clean core, the very clean core concept is you have to fit to standard, and then you have to re-platform or refactor your objects, and then you have to lean the custom objects. Here we are trying to refactoring, in the sense maybe we may use the using the RESTful application programming model, which is CDS based aspect, where we may use the code reusability at a higher factor compared to the traditional way. So that's where, because the data availability is going to be very faster compared to traditional, right? So, and also the reusability is also higher. So that's where we are trying to fixing the requirements to the towards standard mostly, and we are reusing the custom objects in the in a single component. So that's where the explanation can be taken more and more on these particular use cases, but we are just trying to represent how the factors, for example, custom submodule, how that can be linked up with the standard, where within the BTP the custom objects are going to be executed. So that's where it's linked, but it is decoupled from the standard. So in the same way in the remaining scenarios as well. So that's where we can have more interactive sessions when it comes to your landscape to be considered in terms of analyzing your landscape, and then subsequently factoring whether your landscape is cloud ready or not, or what are all the adoptions which we need to consider. We will definitely help you on that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this is again being a customer and SAP, what are all the methods are need to be adopted. For example, within customer, like there are 1, 2, 3 aspects we have categorized. We can also say these are all the takeaways, where what are all the methodologies we need to apply. So generally for mindset, how to use my BTP. So you should have an ideation where you need to think about how my innovative ideas or solutions or use case can be deployed in BTP, so that the functionalities can be leveraged through BTP services. And also from on-premise to moving to BTP, whatever the business cases, for example, like ordering management or some express shipment solutions, or kind of some integration solutions which are talking with your e-commerce aspect. There are a lot of use cases are there where we can think about and then moving towards to BTP. The same solutions can be developed through on-premise, but that's where the clean core concept comes into picture to decouple your solutions from the standard, and then move all your on-premise use cases to BTP, which are already running in your landscape, and then refactor and re-platform towards BTP. So these are all the, I mean, the gradually moving how you can apply, thought process within your landscape. And what are all the, SAP, exactly SAP is saying, and what are all the benefits which we can leverage from SAP? These are all the, I mean, couple of points where we can also work with SAP, of course, being a customer or a partner. You can also work with SAP as a coil partner to as part of the research and R&D for any new ideation. So then SAP also can support us in terms of prioritizing your research, and then subsequently deploying or expanding through BTP. And also you can package the solution being a partner or even a customer. The same solutions can be offered as a BTP extensions to the other partners or customer where SAP support us. So, and you're going to offer a cloud extension policy, and then subsequently you can even offer services towards moving towards BTP. So these are all services, but YASH is predominantly, I mean, they are working with various customers in terms of adopting the clean core aspect, are also adopting the BTP extension strategies. So where, I mean, we always open to talk on these areas, and we can help. So Sridhar, if you would like to add anything, yeah, I just.
Yes, I mean, so you were actually mentioning that, I mean, some of our own customers who have adopted both S/4HANA and also the BTP platforms, incidentally have understood that, I mean, many a customer in the world and a lot of services organizations and the customers are kind of new to these journeys, right? I mean, these are all newer technologies. Incidentally, one interesting thing that happened, one of our customers where we actually helped them move to S/4HANA in a conversion way, they themselves have set up a separate team, the exact team that actually worked alongside with us in terms of moving their ECC to S/4HANA, or converting their ECC to S/4HANA. That team got experience in using the not only ECC to S/4HANA journey related aspects, but also using the BTP area aspects, BTP aspects. So they set up a small arm within their own organization. They are not a IT services organization. Okay, I mean, but the same team that actually helped in the same team that worked alongside with us in converting their ECC to S4, that team was actually created as a services arm, IT services arm of that company. They are not definitely into IT services. They are their own business, and that company is actually offering IT services. So interesting move is because that customer underwent the same journey, they worked along with us. I mean, we both learned in a way, I mean, because these are all newer technologies, and they also got great experience on utilizing many of these BTP technologies. They came up with an IT services arm suddenly, I mean, just after that. So these are all various things that customers themselves are doing. And we as partner, not only on one side helping those customers to move from ECC to S4, but also, enabling those customers and making them also experts and enabling them so that, I mean, that expert team in itself is becoming a services team. So that was an interesting use case, I mean, that happened recently. So SAP is also actually doing very, very similar aspects, enabling customers, enabling partners, offering all these various tools and technologies and so on, training all these customers and partners and all of those. And, we are also doing this. See, one thing probably you would have noticed is the 5 webinars that we have conducted have not been any quote unquote salesy webinars. I mean, these are all thought leadership webinars. Some of the experiences that we carried to some of our customers, and also, I mean, the challenges that we faced, all of those have been actually combined and incorporated into these series of webinars. So if you would like to actually get some additional information, or if you would want to try out some of these use cases in your landscapes, there are many ways of doing that. SAP also has started offering a free tier of BTP, for that matter. Almost all the scenarios, almost all the production services that you can actually see under BTP platform have been are being offered for free also as part of the tier. So we could try, you all could try, and you all, if not have started that journey, you can actually leverage all those offerings from SAP. That said, there seems to be a question, Prasad.
I'm sorry, what is the question? So,
how embedded steampunk help to go with clean core?
Yeah, I mean, this point actually we discussed. Generally, embedded steampunk provides an additional development approach, okay, as part of upgrading the to upgrade stable and cloud ready custom development. It is based on some limited above feature set as of now, because it will not support Node in Pro, but usage of the embedded steampunk is highly with the some released APIs. Okay, so SAP is still, I mean, maturing it, but still, but the cloud ready aspect, you have to adopt the embedded steampunk as part of the clean core approach. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
So in summary, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere we are talking in terms of like how clean core can give a benefits to customer. Again, we are repeating. So it is again not only a partner like us or service provider like us saying that reducing TCO is always be there when it comes to decoupling these solutions, because you are going to getting benefited with your upgrade scenarios with your system, and also efforts with the testing in terms of like traditional way of testing, because you're going to apply some tools through DevOps also. Those are also going to help you in terms of the code readiness within the production strategy also becomes very less, because the DevOps applicability would be there, where the code is going to be passed through different landscapes, like from quality development to quality to production through an automation way in an agile framework aspect. That's where you can reduce the efforts of developers, and also complexity in terms of whenever you are going to upgrade your core system, you don't need to worry about the custom objects aspect. So that's where you can have the ultimate the tagline is reduce TCO. And then speed and innovation, yes. So that's where being cloud ready, then you will be having a flexibility to absorb the innovation even delivered by SAP or also within your in-house teams in a fast rate. So that's where you will not be having any glitches in terms of adoption, because all services are again cloud foundry based, because no more Neo, because Neo is very limited. So that's where the absorbing innovations are also coming up with the new innovation ideas, going to be in a speed and innovation way. And also business requirement aspect also you can address very quickly, so with minimal efforts of development. And also be cloud ready aspect, like where you need to understand the and also change the mindset that whatever the traditional developments or classic approach you have applied here, so you have to just be ready with the cloud ready approach with the embedded steampunk or RESTful application programming model or CAP. That's where you have to lay the foundation today, and then subsequently you have to adopt the cloud ready strategy as part of your journey.
So Naveen,
Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you, Prasad. So this brings us to the end of our fifth and last episode of this BTP webinar series. We will keep coming back with another power packed webinar series with